Hello and welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. I know your English will improve today. My name is Gabe, and here's a question for you. What kinds of things do you do to ensure that you stay healthy? Are you drinking plenty of water every day? Do you make sure that you stop your busy lives to eat nutritional meals? You know, university students are some of the busiest people on the planet, and they need to know how to stay healthy. But I think that we could all learn from these tips from our lesson, Countdown to College, Staying Healthy. Today we'll discuss these points. Carry healthy snacks. Track your sleep. Be social, and check out student services, especially for some ways to get help when you may be really stressed or have other problems going on in life. Open up your magazine right now, friends. It is time for us to begin.
Countdown to College. Staying Healthy. 3. Sometimes students' schedules prevent them from having normal meals at normal times. Carry some healthy snacks that will satisfy you until your next meal. 4. Track your sleep. Staying up late and then getting up early for class the next day works for about one night. The quickest way to run down your body is to not provide sufficient nourishment through food, water, and sleep. 5. Be social. Don't hibernate. Strike a balance between your academic life and your social life.
All right, let's continue learning about how we can stay healthy while at university or on our college campus. Tip number 3 here. Sometimes students' schedules prevent them from having normal meals at normal times. And you see that word normal, both times there in quotation marks. Rebecca, what is a normal time to have a meal? What would you say is the normal time?
That's a really good question. Growing up,
Yeah.
a normal dinner time was 5:30.
Okay.
Now that I'm an adult who works full-time, who usually doesn't get home till 5:30 or 6, normal dinner time for me is closer to 6 or 7.
Okay. What about lunch? For me, I think normal lunch time is any time between 11:30 and 1, maybe?
That's about right. I mean, here at Studio Classroom, our lunch break is 11:45 to 12:45.
Yeah.
So usually my normal lunchtime is somewhere around that time.
And friends, of course, you can think of a normal breakfast time too, right? That's when you get up, maybe 6 or 6:30. That's kind of early for me. I think breakfast for me is like 7:15 or something like that. That's a normal breakfast time, or 8. Depends on when you start work. So our lesson uses the word normal in quotations because it could be different for everybody. But what's normal anyway? That's the question we want to ask you, and maybe you can ask other people or think about what's normal? 正常到底是什么, right? Because it could be different for everybody.
That's right. Carry some healthy snacks that will satisfy you until your next meal. That actually reminds me, sometimes I get hungry around 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon. Then I eat a snack, and that snack ties me over to dinner time.
Did you say it tides you over until dinner time?
Well, I said ties me over, but yes, I meant tides me over.
That's a phrase we want to talk about here, friends. It's not in our lesson, but you read this sentence here. You read it, carry some snacks that will satisfy you until your next meal. That's the same idea. Sometimes we use the phrase to tide you over, or it tided me over. And the meaning is to help you get through a difficult period of some time. Something that you use or eat or do to help you get through that difficult period. So when it comes to food and you're hungry, a little snack can help you get through. It tides you over.
For example, I'm really hungry. I guess this apple will tide me over until dinner time.
Yeah, exactly. So you have your official meal later. You can't have a real meal now. Just eat something little to tide you over. Number 4 here, track your sleep. Staying up late and then getting up early for class the next day works for about one night. That is so true. Maybe you've had to pull an all-nighter before. That means you've had to stay up all night for some reason. And when you do it, you feel, oh, I just stayed up all night. And you might be okay the next day, but the following day, you just feel terrible.
I think I had to do that one time when I was in grad school. It took me days to recover.
Really?
Yes. I do not do well when I have to pull an all-nighter. If I go to bed too late and then wake up too early the next morning, I'm like groggy, meaning I'm really tired and kind of out of it.
Yeah, I understand. Definitely not something that you should do on a regular basis. Don't make it normal, friends. The quickest way to run down your body is to not provide sufficient nourishment through food, water, and sleep. And just in case you're curious, run down is the usage tip for this lesson. You can check that out in your magazine.
Well, let's look at tip number 5. Be social. Don't hibernate. Now, we want to take a look at this word hibernate because when I think of the word hibernate, I think of bears and how they go and hibernate during the winter. Is that what this means?
Exactly. I think our author is having a little fun with this word that usually means, in Chinese you might say 冬眠, right? Some animals hibernate. That means they're resting throughout the whole winter. Like hedgehogs also hibernate. But it could also have another more general meaning, and that is to be inactive. And I think that our author is trying to say, don't just go back into your room when you're not in class. No, do something else. Strike a balance between your academic life and your social life.
And I think that's a very important tip because you don't want to spend all of your time in your room, but at the same time, you don't want to spend too much time with people either.
That's right. Well, of course, we read that food is very important. Sometimes, though, people like to fast. Let's learn a little bit about fasting in the Info Cloud.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Info Cloud. Joe, I'm feeling a little hungry. Do you want to get something to eat after our lesson?
I would, but it's actually a little too early for me to eat anything today.
What do you mean it's too early? You ate breakfast today, right?
No, I didn't eat breakfast because I'm following an intermittent fasting plan called 16-8.
Whoa. That was a lot to take in. First off, what is intermittent fasting? I know if something is intermittent, then it starts and stops at set times.
Right, and that's the idea of intermittent fasting, or IF. You start and stop fasting or not eating at certain times.
Okay, so what is 16-8 intermittent fasting?
This is the most common type of IF, where a person fasts for 16 hours and has an 8-hour period of time in which they can eat 2 to 3 meals.
So someone might set their eating window from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. They eat their first meal of the day starting at 11 and finish their last meal by 7.
Right. I also met someone who does 24 intermittent fasting.
Does that mean they eat 24 hours a day or that they don't eat anything for 24 hours?
Oh, no. So 20 and 4, not 24. She does 20 hours of fasting and has a 4-hour eating window. There are actually many different ways people do IF depending on their schedule and lifestyle.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. Friends, do you think that you are a healthy person? Our lesson is Countdown to College, Staying Healthy. And these tips are really for all of us. Perhaps you could carry around some snacks yourself. Are you tracking your sleep? Are you making sure that you're not just staying to yourself and hibernating if you're not at work or at school? Make sure that you strike a balance between your work or academic life and your social life. Well, we have one more tip for you right now. Let's find out what that is.
Countdown to college. Staying healthy. 6. Check out student services. Every campus offers academic support as well as mental health services. Thankfully, much of the stigma of seeing a counselor has decreased, and students are more willing to get help sooner. Unfortunately, many students wait until they are very unhappy, and then the road to recovery is longer. College is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Make the most out of your time there by staying healthy.
We're on the last section of the month here. Number 6, this tip for staying healthy on your college campus. Check out student services. Perhaps this is a tip that you would not normally think about, but most universities or colleges do have a student services building, and it's there for you. So check it out.
Every campus offers academic support as well as mental health services. Now, this reminds me when I was in college. I used to go and talk to my academic advisor.
Yes. Did you want us to talk about that right now?
Yes. Those words don't actually appear in our lesson, but I think it would be very useful for us to talk about. What is an academic advisor?
Right. Okay. So academic support, an academic advisor is someone who can give you academic support or perhaps counsel you in the right direction. Okay. So they help you to explore the value of your personal education at that school. They also can discuss educational things as well as career choices or paths that you might want to consider. So academic advising is basically for anybody who might be unsure or maybe confused about the direction that they should take in life. And if you're at college, you might as well take advantage of academic advising.
Right. So like when I was at college, like I was saying, I would go talk to my academic advisor, and he would specifically help me, choose the classes that I needed to take to make sure that I was going in the direction that I needed to go for my specific career goals or academic goals.
Rebecca, do you remember how many times you went to see your academic advisor? I can only remember I went to see my academic advisor once. I mean, I asked her questions like that, like what kind of classes I should take, maybe what should my major be, and I think she helped me, but maybe I should have gone even more. How often did you go?
Well, I went probably at least once or twice a semester.
Wow. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good because for me it was really important to make sure that I was taking the classes that I needed to take, and I didn't take classes that wouldn't actually help me graduate on time.
Right, and you want to stay on track. And so that's part of the purpose of academic advising as well. Friends, we've talked a lot about academic advising. It is a very important thing. Thankfully, much of the stigma of seeing a counselor has decreased, and students are more willing to get help sooner. Now, I do want to point out that there is something different. There's a difference between an academic advisor who helps you think about your major and your classes and your career, and a counselor. A counselor is different. I think that's providing more emotional or mental support.
Unfortunately, many students wait until they are very unhappy, and then the road to recovery is longer. Can we say, Gabe, that oftentimes students may wait until they hit rock bottom before they go get help?
Yeah, perhaps. That's a great phrase, right? It doesn't appear in our lesson, but sometimes people say this, I hit rock bottom. It's a phrase that's often used when talking about someone who's been addicted to something, and they couldn't change their lives around until their life just got so bad it seemed like it couldn't get any worse. And that's what this phrase means. It means to reach the lowest or worst point.
And we read the last sentence here. College is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And let's take a look at that phrase, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
That's right. Now, we talked about this earlier this month in, I think it was an info cloud, but this is a great time to review it, okay? Whatever you're doing right now, is it important? Is it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? If it is, then make the most of it.
And that's what our lesson says. Make the most out of your time there by staying healthy. Where? Of course, at college. And right now, it's time for us to review today's lesson with a review skit.
Make the most of it.
Being sick at college is no fun. I'm missing classes and social events. And when I feel better, I'll have to catch up on all my work. I want my mama.
Honey, remember, maintaining physical health and mental health can determine your happiness and success.
Mama? Is that really you?
No, honey, you're just dreaming. But while I'm here, let me remind you how to stay healthy.
Okay, mothers love giving advice.
We sure do. Now, first of all, wash your hands. It's the easiest way to prevent catching cold from roommates and friends. Oh, and don't forget your hand sanitizer.
Clean hands. That makes sense.
Yes, and drink water. Coffee may wake you up, but water will keep you going.
I'll consume more water daily, Mama.
Good. Just carry a water bottle in your backpack and fill it up regularly.
Okay, I will.
Now, I know that sometimes your schedules prevent you from having normal meals at normal times.
So, what should I do?
Well, carry some healthy snacks. That will satisfy you until your next meal.
Carry snacks. That's a great idea.
Another way to stay healthy is to track your sleep. Don't stay up late and then get up early for class the next day.
But I have to sometimes.
Well, that only works for about one night. You need sufficient nourishment, water, and sleep.
Okay, I'll try and do better.
And be social. Don't hibernate. Strike a balance between your academic life and your social life.
Get out more. Right.
Yes, that helps you stay healthy. And who knows, it may help you find a good husband. Oh.
Mom.
Oh, and check out support services on campus. Maybe you need help.
I do need help. I'm talking to my mother in a dream.
Yes, that's right.
I must be sick. Oh my gosh.
All right, friends, make sure that you reread today's lesson with your new appreciation of the words and phrases that we talked about. Sometimes it's important to have a snack with you to tide you over between meals. It's important not to hibernate, but to get out and be social sometimes, even though lives are busy. College is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so make the most of it. Thank you for joining us this month, and we'll see you in September right here on Studio Classroom.